Because pressure is mounting for Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller, a former Trump White House aide, to end his congressional reelection bid amid ugly allegations of physical and emotional abuse from his ex-wife, Emily Marino. Emily is the daughter of Republican Senator Bernie Marino of Ohio. This afternoon, the House Ethics Committee announced it is, quote, reviewing allegations that Representative Max Miller may have engaged in domestic violence and abuse or illegal drug use, unquote. This after Miller officially made the request for the investigation into himself earlier today. Miller's ex-wife, Emily Marino, alleges that Miller at one point held a gun to her head, at a different point threw hot water on her during her marriage, and threw her against the wall during a custody dispute. The allegations emerged during Marino's police interviews as detectives investigated Miller and Marino's 2-year-old daughter's fractured collarbone.
I was just scared of him a lot. And that's why I left the house and I moved out.
No charges were ultimately filed in connection to their daughter's injuries against anyone. Now, Congressman Miller categorically denies all of these allegations, but the fallout has continued to dog his reelection bid in Ohio's 7th congressional district. The clock is ticking. The deadline for Miller to pull out of the race, if he is going to, so that his party can hold a special primary to fill the Republican nomination, well, that is tonight. Earlier today, Senator Marino, Marino's father, well, until Sunday, he had stayed silent on this sad affair. But after Miller shot a live stream on Sunday about the matter, Marino then on Twitter called for his former son-in-law to drop out of the race and to seek help. And earlier today, Senator Marino told journalists that this has been a brutal and horrific experience for his granddaughter, for his daughter, and for the whole family.
This is truly the 7th level of hell. She has a little blue bunny that she sleeps with. Max would not hand over the little blue bunny. Literally held it hostage for 48 hours. This girl is crying at night because she can't sleep without her little blue bunny. And his answer is, I'm just not going to give it to you. So finally yesterday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, he lets the little blue bunny go.
Here with us now to discuss Ohio Republican Congressman Max Miller. He's joining us from Los Angeles, where President Trump will touch down this evening. So, Congressman, let's start there with your former father-in-law's story today about your daughter and the little blue bunny doll that she cannot sleep without. If it's true, that sounds like emotionally abusive behavior toward a toddler to refuse to give it to her when she can't sleep without it.
Jake, I would agree that if that were true, that would be incredibly disturbing and that the senator would be right. However, he has taken 2 years to publicly acknowledge for me to resign from my seat. Why is that, Jake? If he truly believed, like I'm a father to a 2.5-year-old daughter, I believe that you're also a father to children. And I don't know if you're actually a father to a daughter. But what I can tell you is, well, Jake, then what I can tell you is that if my daughter came to me and she said, my ex-husband did X, Y, and Z, and then I waited because I was nervous that a political live stream was going to expose a deeply impersonal, embarrassing matter to the senator for him to take that action. Sadly, this has nothing to do with my daughter, Jake, and that's what this entire thing is about. This is nothing more than an individual who's being politically vindictive and talking about a blue bunny when I have text messages I can show you from our parent coordinator, who is a mandatory court reporter, who said that Mr. Moreno would be coming over my home, and then another individual came who I don't know.
Well, first of all, Congressman, you're faulting him for both not saying anything for 2 years and for saying something in the last 2 days.
Well, that's because, Jake,
it's possible that he didn't say anything because his daughter didn't want him to say anything because he didn't want this to become any more of a spectacle than it's become.
You could say that, but also dealing with this in a private family matter, then why couldn't have we had a conversation a year ago? If Mr. Moreno felt this was the case, why do we now have to be here on national TV exposing all of our personal family drama? Why didn't he come to me and say, Max, I don't believe privately that you should be in the United States Congress and that you need to look for a pathway out, and I do believe my daughter.
I don't know, but it's not really the issue, though, right? The issue is, the one I asked you about is, did you hold this doll hostage? Because that is emotionally abusive behavior.
Mr. Tapper, no.